That's awesome. Hello, hello. This is Amy from Amy Parker Art. This is my friend Jamie from Creations of Studio 39. And we are excited to have coffee with you
Have some coffee
today.
in my cool mug. There we go.
And I'm going to
You
get
gotta get
one too.
yours.
I felt like we almost were sharing, like touching our
Oh yeah,
glasses there.
let's try it. If I go this way, then it'll. Oh look, cheers.
Perfect. Oh my goodness. Jamie and I were just talking before we pressed the live here to pop on. And I'll let Jamie explain it because she had a she, anyway, Jamie, you go ahead because we want to clear something up right in the
Yeah.
beginning before we start this conversation today.
Yeah, I see Kellen popping on there. So we just wanted to make the distinction between when we say a free group versus a paid group. Here on Facebook, we're talking about. So when we say a free group, that just means that there is no requirement, there's no enrollment, there's nothing required for them to get into that group. Now, that group can be private so that they have to be vetted in there, right? Or it can be public. But when we say a paid group, we aren't actually meaning that you have to pay to get into the group on Facebook.
Right.
What we mean by a paid group is that you are paying for a membership, a course, a workshop, whatever it might be. And on Facebook, there's a group that's the community for that offer that you paid for. So we just wanted to make that distinction because you're not actually paying to get into the group on Facebook. That's just the community because Facebook really values community. They want us to be social because it's a social media platform. So we just wanted to make that distinction and be sure that we were clear on that. So,
yeah.
Oh, Kellen, I just made my coffee earlier. So I usually make 4 cups at a time, which in my big mug is, 2 cups kind of fit in one mug. So
now I'm
wanted to make
wondering
another one.
if I should order the smaller cup. I couldn't really tell the difference just
No,
looking at them on the
no,
pictures.
you need the bigger cup.
The
No,
bigger
you
one.
need, yeah.
Oh my
Although
goodness.
I just started doing this, not to get on a big tangent about coffee, but I usually only fill it up maybe 3/4 or so of the way full. And then I get a non-sugar, no sugar creamer, but it's real cream, right?
Yep.
So I think it's the Starbucks, the caramel macchiato. And then I don't know if you have a frother,
Yes.
but we use our frother like multiple times a day. And I think it was like $10 on Amazon. And so about this much of my coffee is my foamed creamer. So I take my frother and I cream it. So it's like a fancy coffee that I would get at Starbucks. And I just do it at home.
I love my my foamer as well. My daughter Emily, when she was home from college a couple years ago, she bought one, and then when she went back to school, I'm like, I'm getting one of
Yeah,
those.
we
They're
use it for hot
super cool.
chocolate. We use it for
Yeah.
tea if we put honey in there, like all kinds of things. So
Yeah.
Kellen says she uses extra creamy oat milk. I have heard a lot of people use that, and I think I've tried it a few times, but I might have to get that and try that. So I know it makes a richer, kind of creamier taste.
If I wasn't allergic to oats, then I would try it. I have a lot of allergies. Yeah.
Oh, Adrian uses it too.
Nice. My sister does as well.
Vanilla.
That's pretty popular.
Vanilla creamer.
Pretty popular.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. Okay. Well, we got a few questions.
Yeah, you said you pulled them up, right?
Yeah. So I'll start reading them so we can answer. And of course, if you have any questions for us at all, just go ahead and throw them in the chat here, and we will keep an eye on that. That's okay, Kellen. Thanks for popping on. We'll see you soon. You can always watch the recording anyway. If you're busy. I know, I get it. This this is an early time for most of us, myself included.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know we have a couple of West Coasters that will sometimes pop on, so it's really early for them.
Yes. Those are the diehards. It's like, oh my goodness. I remember somebody saying, was it the last chat? Oh my gosh, it's been so long because you had your retreat. So we're coming back now after like a whole month.
Yeah, it's been a month. Yeah.
But I do remember somebody commenting saying, I'm watching you ladies while I'm laying in bed. It's early.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So Heather Parson asks, what's the advantage to having a free group when you are just setting up a paid membership? Good question. Good question. So do you want me to go first or?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So for me, here's my thoughts. And this is how I look at it. We need to build an audience and we need to get people interested in what we are doing. And we have to offer them something of value before they're ever going to decide if they want to jump in with us for anything that is paid, right? Anything that we're offering. So I think right in the very beginning, it's important for us to set up a group to house those people, to give something of value, whatever it is that your audience is that really, really wanting. And you don't have to give them everything. But if you, Heather, if you already have, I mean, let's see, what's the advantage to having a free group when you are just setting up a paid membership? So I'm assuming, I could be wrong, Heather, let me know, but I'm assuming that you don't have a group right now for, a free group. And you are probably launching, this is what I'm guesstimating from your question. I would still consider, in my opinion, setting up a free group as well, calling it something different other than your membership, but something along the same lines so people know, hey, what this group is all about. Because that way, like I said, you can just kind of start gathering people there, give them one of your freebies, or if you don't even have one of those set up, you literally could just go in and do a live once in a great while, even like once a month or something like that, so that they can get something from you and start understanding what you're all about. Yes, we have business pages too, right? But the way that the algorithm works on Facebook is when you make a post, it could be the same post across all three of these places in Facebook, on your profile, in a group, and on your page. You are going to, depending on followers and things like that, but normally Facebook will push it out to the most people on your profile, and then your group, and then your page. Unfortunately, that's the last one. But in the beginning, when I was like selling my own art, that's the reason why I set up a group too, because I could gather all those people who wanted to see my paintings and put them all into one place. So I think it's great to have both so people can get their feet wet, bottom line. Yeah. Anything you want to add?
I got a little bit of that feedback. Coffee chat's over, Amy, because basically you just summed up everything between a free group and a paid group. So, but here is what I was thinking, and I have a couple of things to add, but I always paint the picture because I'm very visual, and so having imagery around kind of concepts, right? Like algorithm, what does that really mean? Like, what does that look like, right? So the way that I always picture my business page is my storefront. And I'm going to ask a question that I just thought of. And I think that this is a really good, so my storefront's Kohl's, because even this shirt that I'm wearing right now, I got at Kohl's. Like, I think everything I have on, I got at Kohl's.
I love it. It's very pretty, by the way. I love that color.
I got it for my retreat. So that you'll see lots of pictures with this shirt of my retreat. I wore it on the plane, So my storefront, my business page, Creations of Studio 39, is my Kohl's, right? That's my front door. Does Kohl's sell to you outside their front door? Do they sell to you? I'm asking you a question, Amy.
Oh, I thought you were waiting for the comments.
No, those are always delayed. I'm live with you.
Oh my goodness.
I don't
Well,
see
I
any
mean,
comments
let's
coming in.
see.
So
It's early, Jamie. Hopefully I answered this the correct way. I hate shopping. I'm one of those women that I'm just an anomaly, I guess. I don't like to go shopping.
I
But
don't
I
either.
have shopped at Kohl's before. And as far as them trying to sell outside of their doors, well, they're sending coupons all the time in your email,
Marketing and
things like that. Yeah.
So that's what you're kind of doing on your business page, right? It's just the marketing. It's just having people see what you're doing. Ideally, and I say ideally because I did not do things this way, but you learn, you try things, and then you know what the best practices usually are. So what I did is after I got to 1,000 followers, so that's kind of what you were talking about, you have to build an audience. The audience should start on your business page. That, I think across the board, people can tell you that you need to have a group and it does better and more people engage. And that's true, but you need to have a presence as a business on Facebook for multiple different reasons. But so you build your audience there first. It's public. You attract more people that way. There are more ways that you can share from there. There's all kinds of ways to attract your traffic, right? If you think about location is everything, right? Kohl's doesn't set up their business on a dirt road out in the middle of nowhere because it would be harder to drive traffic there. So your business page, you have to set up a business page. Now, when I started getting traffic to my business page, I was doing exactly like you said. I was doing lives and I was attracting people and I was attracting an audience. And the reason that I offered something was because they started asking for more. They started asking for more from me. They started asking for more of what I could teach to them in a half an hour. They started asking for more. What I decided to go ahead and do, because I was brand new in my business, I didn't really, I needed to start making some income, right? Is I made an offer from my business page. Because that's where my audience was.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't to 1,000 followers yet. Once you get to 1,000 followers, because here's what a group does, it segments your audience. So now you're taking 1,000, are all 1,000 people going to come over to your group? Probably not. They're only the ones who want to walk into Kohl's and go to a specific department. So what I did after my offer, which was a membership, which led to a paid community group for that membership, I offered, to join the membership. So that's one option. The other option is, thank you, I'll just keep watching your creations of Studio 39. The third option is, I want to keep following you and I want to keep coming into a department that has to do with what you're talking about, but I'm just not ready to make a decision yet. That's the free group.
Yeah.
That's the group like you were talking about. You want to keep them together. And I've done that multiple different times in different departments of people that I want to stay together as what I would call my warm audience, right? They're the ones who've already walked in my front door. They've already probably had some kind of interaction with me on my business page. Now they're walking in and they're trying to decide what department to go to. And now I've set up a group that says, hey, here's this department. You can come over here, and it's a community. And there are different things that you can do inside of a community than you can outside on your storefront, right? I think the analogy of thinking of it like a department store like that just helps me to, to kind of think through as a consumer, what that journey looks like, right? They talk about the customer journey. So, they're coming in the front door through my business page, then they're deciding what department they want to go to. And I have a couple of those and then they go to that free group, which then probably would lead them to what we're calling a paid group, which is, where the community for whatever it is that you're offering. So,
Yeah. Hi, Diana.
Yeah.
That's a really good analogy, Jamie. I like that. I usually tell my members when they're confused about the business page, like right in the beginning, I try and tell them, kind of pretend like it's your virtual business card, because
Yeah.
it is public and, obviously you got to do a little work on there to kind of build it up like we all do. We all start from zero. But I like your analogy with the store, and it just does give like a nice visual. I have many different departments myself, and like you're saying, it's nice to use those to segregate because I teach different things, right? I mean, I mostly teach artists how to market their paintings online. That's what my membership is about. But I also do one-on-one business coaching. I'm an artist myself, paint. So we have like different things. So to kind of like zone in a little bit more, I like the way that you explained it, because having a group would keep the ones that are interested in this department here and interested in this one here. So awesome.
Yeah. So I don't think the free group, I had to pause. I'm getting a ton of feedback even when I talk now.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
I'm going to shut off one of my other windows and see if that might help.
Okay. Yeah, I always try to shut down all of mine before I start a broadcast.
I just shut down all my windows. I only had Facebook open. That's your dog.
Yeah, that is my dog. There's a truck that's backing up into our driveway. So
Oh gosh.
Yeah. He's not real happy about that. So
you got something being delivered?
No, it was like a service truck. I don't know what it is about truck. I think it's diesel. It's something about the diesel engine. I don't know. Mailman, delivery trucks,
right.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully that answered Heather's. I didn't see her popping on here yet, but her question about that.
I mean, I think we dove pretty well into that one. You're like, Amy, you let the cat out of the bag right at the first question.
All of it.
Okay. Thou art strong. I'm not sure.
So that's Nilda.
Nilda okay.
Galarza. I got to meet her when I was on my retreat.
Awesome.
So it was so fun. We met at this cute little coffee shop, and it was right around the corner. And it ended up working out, but we had already kind of left the house where we were staying, and we had went to the other end of the island. And then I'm messaging. The island is only 7 miles long, so she's like, "Well, we're at this coffee shop." I'm like, "I'm headed back right now." So
nice. Yeah. I remember when I was in Key West, I think the island was 4 miles long.
Yeah.
I mean, so cool though when you're on an island like that. That's great. Okay, so Nilda asks, how do paying membership members interact with the free group? Do they belong to both? And how do you explain to each the difference? So how do paying membership members interact with the free group? Excuse me. Do they belong to both? And how do you explain to each the difference? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I can give like actual examples. But the answer is yes. You want them to be in the free group still. So probably they're going to come to your business page, then they're going to join the free group because that's the journey you're trying to get them, and then they're going to join the paid membership, which has the community. You still want them to stay in the free group because they're social proof. They're social proof of showing up in that free group and saying, "Hey, you need to come over here because this is where you get all the good stuff." So yes, you still want them to show up and to engage and interact. And there's still a level of value for them that you're not maybe giving exactly in the paid membership. And it allows them to kind of step up and almost be like mentors to the people who are in the free group. And it gives them another resource to be able to ask questions of somebody who is maybe closer in the journey to where they are, like the free members, we'll just call them that, versus the paid members are closer than the department owner, right? Or the business owner. So I say yes to keeping them in there, and they engage, and yeah.
I love that answer. And I literally just have a firsthand example because I just closed the doors to my membership. But prior to that, the week before my membership was open, in my free group, remember, side note, you do not have to pay to get into any groups on Facebook. Jamie mentioned this in the beginning, but I just want to do another shout out. What we are talking about with paid versus free is how we set that up with our own like memberships or courses or what we are offering to our audience, and then we give them access to jump in and join a particular group that goes along with what we want to do here.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's, but anyway, I say yes to that as well. I totally agree with everything that you said. And my members were amazing warriors that week. And what I did in my free group was I did a challenge, a free challenge for everyone. And it was really awesome to have my Creative Warrior members in there because they did just what Jamie was talking about. They helped each other out, they cheered each other on, and they really benefited from taking that challenge as well, because the excitement's built up and it helps the momentum to keep going. So yeah, I agree, Jamie.
I was going to say we could call it customers as the paid group, warm market as the free group, and then followers on your business page, because that's really the journey that you're trying to take them from a follower to a warm market to be interested to then saying yes to being a customer. So really that's how I think of my free group versus a paid group. It's my warm market and my customers.
Yep.
So we could say it like that.
Perfectly explained. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Ria. Oh wait, I think she's just making a comment because she's like, my exact question. Seems like you would be having to come up with twice the inflation.
Twice the inflation. I'm not.
Yeah, maybe she's talking about twice the content. Maybe she's talking about that.
And I think that is one of the questions in there that we'll get to. So
yeah. Okay, so Diana, and I know Diana's on here. Thanks for hanging out with us. So Diana's, I'm looking on my phone, by the way, not just turning away from Jamie, like whatever.
It looked like you were turning towards me, actually.
Oh yeah, actually, right. Diana says, how do you get a person in free group to join a paid group? I'm nurturing them, but not sure when it's too much or enough. That's a good question. Do you want to take that one or you want me to?
I've talked about this a little bit inside of my Creative Business Owner Basics group, which is my warm market group. And I think a lot of it comes down to, well, two different things. And one of them is more of a skill and one of them is maybe something that you learn. I talk about, I think you have to show up with confidence. You have to show up with confidence that what you are offering is valuable to someone. And if you get one person that pays you, that is proof. That is proof of the concept that you have, that somebody is willing to trade their money for what your promise is of what the, offer is, their transformation, their, what you're going to provide for them. So one person, that's all that you need. And you just kind of need to keep tweaking your messaging, or what some people would call your sales language. I don't like to really call it sales language necessarily, but that's, that's what you're learning. And I think that that's a skill. And the best way that I notice this is I notice what I'm attracted to. What are the words that people use that make me, oh, wait a second, maybe I need that. Oh, that sounds like me. Oh, and so what is it that sparks my interest enough to say yes,
Yeah.
to that offer? And if I can be aware of that, so it's almost like putting on your consumer hat, right? But looking at it from a marketing standpoint to help you in your business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a balance in trying to do that. But you have to be aware of that. It's very psychological, right? I've heard people say that, and I think this is true because I'm a consumer of things and I buy things. People buy on emotion. So if you can paint a picture, if you can tell a story that tugs at their emotions, I mean, why do we, buy the I don't know, the dog toy? Because they've told us some sappy story about how we're depriving our dog if we don't provide, get this, there's some kind of emotional pull if you're offering some kind of transformation, if you're offering, whatever it is. Usually it's not based on price because people go and pay like $10 for a coffee that they could buy an entire bag of coffee that would make however many, cups, but they see the value in that for whatever reason. So it's not a money issue at all. There's something underneath that, and it's tweaking that conversation that you have with them of serving whatever it is that they need to the point where they see that whatever you're offering is the solution.
Yeah.
That's what
Right.
gets them to say yes.
Right. Awesome, Jamie. I once again agree with everything that you said. Diana, if you feel like I just want to kind of throw this out there. If you feel like you're giving like way too much and your warm audience group is consuming too much of your time, then that's a clue that it probably is.
Yeah.
And there's ways to kind of scale that back, right? Like you could literally even make a post in there that says, hey, I'm going to give you XYZ once a month or once every other week or whatever it is, so that they know what they're going to get from you. But that warm audience does not need to get everything from you. And if you are getting them asking a lot of questions or wanting more, like Jamie had mentioned earlier, when people were on her business page and they wanted more from her, same with the warm audience group. If you're getting that kind of feedback, it's time to do something, to ask for that sale, and to, if you have something, whatever you have, I was going to say a freebie, but we're talking about, we're already past that point. So, ask for it. Like, create something. If you already have something in mind, then don't hold back from it. Just put it out there and see who bites. And like Jamie said, even if you get one, literally, you guys, way back when I started my membership, I had one member. I'm one of those people that's like, I just had one, and she stayed with me for a long time. And then I started to build a little by little, and I'm still building little by little, but I know a whole lot more. And like Jamie was mentioning too, you kind of learn how to tweak things. You learn from your mistakes. You listen to your audience, no matter if they're just seeing you, they're warm, they're paid, whatever it is. So you can make sure that you're still delivering. But yeah, Diana, don't give too much. Don't burn yourself out, and go ahead and ask for the sale. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So Adrian says, I started a free group, but then was told not to. So now I don't know what to do. Do I keep it or close it? And I know that
Adrian,
you said a couple things in here to her, but go ahead, Jamie.
yeah, I have to wait for you to. I'm getting so much feedback.
Oh man,
It's
I'm
really
so
hard.
sorry about that. I
Yeah.
can't hear it on my end.
Yeah, normally I have to wait for you to completely stop talking so I don't get any feedback. I have chatted with Adrian a little bit, and my quick advice, I think I may have even posted on there, was to keep the group. You've already started it. And, you know, I told her that my advice is usually to have 1,000 followers on your page first. And I think she said that she was fairly close to that. And she had started the group, and then people told her. And I think that that's where I had said, if you have something that you feel confident, like going back to that confidence, show up and provide value. And like you said, you can put boundaries around how much you do that. But I have found in a free group, a warm audience, that normally you have to get up to about 500 people in that group to really start having a lot of engagement. So you are the one who's creating that engagement at first. Now I have a warm audience of over, I think I'm up to like 3,200 in one of my groups now. I don't really go into that warm audience group and offer as much. And when I say offer, like provide value content as much as I used to. I used to do the live once a week. I used to, you know, and it just kind of goes through seasons of how much I want to utilize that group and talk to them. And, you know, but there for a while to build that group and build that warm audience, I was going in there more often and I was providing, you know, but once you get to a point, then that group and the people that are in the group will provide that engagement for you. So I told her to keep the group and, you know, just start trying some things in there and seeing if you can build, and you can share from your business page into there so you're not creating double the content. So that was kind of some of the things that I told to her. But, you know, like you said, everybody starts somewhere. So I think sometimes you have to put the blinders on so that you're not listening to what other people say. Because even when I give feedback, I have a Zoom that I'm going to start here in about an hour. And I almost always start, it's like a study group kind of a Zoom. And I almost always start with, this is what I've done, but you have to try it for yourself because your audience, your following, the way that you deliver is different. So I'm kind of giving them inspiration, right? And so if people are telling you things, filter that through, would that work for my audience? Right? And if it doesn't, don't listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
Put the blinders on and, you know, just keep going for it. And it just takes some time. She was just feeling kind of discouraged. And I know she was on here earlier and I'm not seeing a lot of comments come through. So I don't know if it's because we don't have people asking questions or if I'm just not seeing them or whatever. But I think that she was just feeling discouraged because people were saying, right.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I hear someone saying that, that tells me that, oh, good, she is still there. You know, that just you have to show up with that level of confidence that what you're offering is of value and not listen to, you know, what a lot of other people say. I do a lot of things that other people say won't work and they work for me. So yeah.
My
dog is barking so much today.
Now I can hear the barking dog on my end.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, Adrian. Just what Jamie said. Like, don't you know, everybody's gonna have an opinion, no matter what you're doing. Everybody. And are you going to be able to satisfy everybody, or do you really need everybody's opinion? Like, I try to look at it like, who is giving me this feedback, and are they where I want to be? And if they are, then maybe I will take a second listen. But still, our businesses are usually different in some way, just like Jamie was saying. So may work for one person, may not work for another. So really dig into your heart and soul. What do you want to do? What do you feel like doing? What do you feel like you're good at? What do you feel like you could just help out with and do forever? And that kind of stuff, that's like your intuition telling you, hey, you're on the right path. And Jamie, I know your word for the year is align, so you probably have a whole lot to talk about there. But yeah, I agree with what you said, that she should just go for it. And hey, it may or may not work, right? It may or may not, and we just have to know that, because business is all about testing things. Testing things. If it works, great. If it doesn't, just readjust it or just move on to the next thing. That's how I roll anyway.
Yeah, I've heard somebody say, let's just call it an experiment.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes the pressure off of it to be perfect, right? Or to work, because experiments a lot of times don't work, but you learn from them. You learn about like what two things not to put together so it doesn't explode, right? Or so yeah.
So Edison did over 1,000 experiments to create the light bulb. I mean, so yeah, seriously, it is all about experimenting. It is.
Yeah. What do you say? Like I just learned 10,000 reasons of what didn't work. So yeah.
We got to just have, like Jamie said, confidence and self-motivation, and just keep on persevering. Just keep on doing it. You
got it, Adrian.
Yeah. That was the end of the questions on the post that I saw.
Oh, okay.
So if any of you have any more questions on what we're talking about, go ahead and drop them in right now. We'll hang on for a little bit and see if there's anything else we can help you out with.
Still barking.
Do you have to get up and go let him out, Jamie, or pat him or give him a treat?
So my husband normally works from home, and today they were having a team building event. So somebody came and picked him up. So he was barking about that because somebody pulled into our driveway that doesn't normally pull in, and I don't know if on Friday there's, I don't know, service trucks, or I don't know what he's barking at now because my husband's already left.
Oh, so he's used to having hubby there. So he's probably like, what is going on?
And he's by the front window. So there's a lot more happening at the front window than if he was at the back of the house.
Yeah.
There's usually not quite as much because there's the backyard, and anything that he could see is, farther back. So
he's protecting you, Jamie. You're on your coffee chat. He's doing his job out there, letting you know who's around.
Good job protecting us.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness. I don't see any more questions coming in. And listen, you all, I didn't do a whole bunch of big shout outs for this chat because I was in the middle of my own launch and doing my own Build a BuzzSphere, our business, the free challenge, and all that stuff. So I dropped the ball a little bit on that, but I had, things I was getting done. And plus Jamie was busy hugging all of her people at her in-person event, her retreat that just looked magic and amazing. So that's why, we've had a little span here, but we'll continue our coffee chats every other Friday at the same next time we'll be on Jamie's page.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. I was going to mention that, hey there, Cheryl. She's a little bit late because she's over there on that mountain time, so it's a little bit earlier for her. And she was one of the people that I got to meet on my retreat. So on next Wednesday, I was going to mention that you were talking about the people that I got to see in person. It's been 2 weeks already. I left 2 weeks ago, tomorrow. And so I'm already like missing all of them. And I decided to have an after party. So we're having an after party with all of the 13 ladies and 2 bonus ladies that were at the retreat. And we're going to all be on Zoom talking about the retreat and maybe sharing some secrets about the retreat. We talked about like what happens on AMI stays in AMI, like that kind of thing. But we might be sharing a couple of things. And that is going to be on my business page at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. And so anybody is welcome to show up to watch. She's writing it down. is welcome to show up and watch that after party. And it's just going to be a fun time of us getting together and kind of, reliving some memories and talking about kind of what happened at the retreat. And so if you're curious at all about like what happened, if you saw any of the pictures from the hashtag Create Retreat 2023, and you saw a lot of the ones popping up, but you just kind of want to hear from the people who were actually there, we're all going to be on Zoom, and they might be like popping on and off. I told them it's kind of like an open door Zoom, and they can come in and we'll just kind of informal chatting and things like that. And I do have something kind of special at the very end of the after party that we're going to talk about. So yeah, if people want to show up, that's on my page over on Creations of Studio 39 next Wednesday. And there is an event on my page. If you want to mark going, then that way you get the notification and you can watch it in the event afterwards.
That's awesome, Jamie. I am so happy you're doing this. I did write it down, so hopefully my schedule will allow for me to show up and watch it live with you.
Yeah, I'm thinking like half an hour, 45 minutes or something. So yeah.
Yeah. And you did such a great job. I loved following your hashtag and seeing the gorgeous house that you were in the artwork, in the jacuzzi, and my goodness.
Do you want me to tell you a crazy story? I shared this with the retreat group yesterday. So 2 days ago, someone from the retreat commented somewhere, and she commented about a piece of artwork that was in the living room, and it was this massive, like 2 by 3 foot I say painting. I think it was a painting on a board with resin.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful like aerial view of umbrellas and sand, and very tropical, because everything in this house, the decorator was very very specific about the colors and just everything going together, and so it was very well designed. So I remember at the beginning of the retreat, somebody commented on the signature, and they said, "Oh, I recognize that artist. She's local." I was like,
wow.
"Oh, well, that's kind of cool." I didn't really think about it. 2 days ago, somebody at the retreat commented that she had looked up that artist because that person is also in Florida, because that's where we had the retreat. So she looked up, and she was she was surprised, not surprised, but she took notice of how much that artist was charging for that artwork, a similar piece of artwork, that size and everything. So that was 2 days ago. Yesterday, I'm in a paid community, right? I'm in a paid community for the membership experience. And a lot of people have memberships, and a lot of people have taken that course. And because I, 2 days ago, went and looked up the artist that she was talking about, the signature was only the first name. So when I went to the website, I was able to find out the last name and see a picture of this person, of this artist. And so I was looking up the artwork, and I'm trying to even think of how I knew the artist's last name. Anyway, yesterday, I pull up this paid group, and do you know that artist is in that paid group?
Wow.
And I never would have put that together and noticed her last name.
Oh my gosh, what a coincidence.
So she made this whole big long post, and she was just giving tips and things like that. And I commented. I was the very first comment. I was like, what a coincidence that was, because I just saw your artwork in a retreat house for my first business retreat that I had, and whatever. And so she commented back, and she said, "Oh, I've been trying to wrap my brain around having a retreat for myself." And I was just like, how cool is that? That just a few days ago, I didn't even know her last name. And here now, not only do I have a connection with her because we're in this paid group together, but now I'm having a conversation with the artist who created the artwork in the house that I was just in a couple of weeks ago.
So cool. Just like what Diana said.
Yeah. So I don't know what Diana's talking about with her eyeballs. These
Yeah, I
doctors-
noticed that too. I'm like, huh.
maybe she's, I just went to the eye doctor yesterday. So the artist name, if you want to look her up, is Shelby Dillon.
How
And
do you
she's
spell
based,
Dylan?
Edith is on here. She was the one that made the comment. It's Dillon.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just thought that I don't even know that I had really told Edith. I did a video in the retreat group yesterday telling them about just how, kind of a crazy coincidence. And, I kind of mentioned to them, yeah, her artwork was beautiful. I'm sure that was partly why it was in the living room, because it was a statement piece in there.
Yeah.
I just talked to them about, you have to keep your eyes open. And you have to allow for possibilities of what could happen, right? Like I almost kind of have an expectation now when something like that happens that there's a reason. So I was kind of speculating with them. I said, I don't know. Maybe the reason that I made that connection the day before she made that post was maybe she needs information about retreats. And now that I've hosted a retreat, maybe I'll collaborate with her some way about retreats. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she would show up at our next retreat and do a workshop for us because she's local, because we made that connection. Maybe, so I don't know. You just never know. And I just think that there was a purpose behind why Edith said that, why I looked it up the night before, and then her post happened to be the one that popped up when I opened up that group.
Yeah. I love how you do that. I do the same thing. I think it's so important that we look for the opportunities. And I love what you said about that there's probably a reason. I think we should ask ourselves that more often when, it's like, is this a coincidence, or maybe a reason why this is presenting itself to me? Maybe I should look into it, So that's awesome. I love that story.
Just kind of like follow the path. Somebody told me that there was somebody that they would go to trainings with, and I'm trying to think of who it was. And she would look over at the beginning of all of these trainings and say, I wonder what awesome thing we're going to learn that's going to help us in our business today. Like, so she would go into it with the intention that there was going to be some nugget of information, experience, skill, whatever, that was going to, be something awesome. And I just kind of love that, to go into it. And what happens is your brain then looks for that.
Yeah.
And it positions you to notice, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the one idea. Maybe that's I have a mentor that I follow, and he says, and Cheryl got to be in person with this mentor a couple of weeks ago in St. Louis, Brad Bizjack. He says, you're just one insight away from a radically different life.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. Something like that. I might not have exactly the words.
That reminds me to look at things in a different perspective sometimes, especially if you get stuck and you're like kind of tunnel vision. It's like, well, step out of it. Just like you were talking about earlier, Jamie, when you're like, you kind of pretend you're your own customer. I do that too. It's like, what would I want? What would make me go, oh, this is cool, or this is helpful? So yeah, just trying to think of things in a different perspective as well. So I like how this conversation went. We got some cool stories going on here. So this is neat. I don't see any more questions coming in right now for the groups, the warm audience, and your customers. But if so, drop them in here. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap up in a few minutes. I know we're both busy, and Jamie has to. You're hosting a meeting today, right? You're hosting.
Yes, at 11.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, please keep an eye out, especially on Jamie's page, Creations of Studio 39. She'll be setting up the event whenever, I'm sure sometime soon, for our next coffee chat.
After party.
The
next coffee chat. Yes.
Am I frozen? I'm not sure if I'm frozen for you all. I see Jamie is frozen. If somebody can just type in, okay, I see you're back now. We're having a little glitch. But yes, definitely reminder for Jamie's after party. Okay, Shelley, thank you for that. Um, Jamie was frozen. Okay, we're good now. We could see Jamie moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, her after party that's coming up, which is 3 p.m. on Wednesday, her after party.
3:30.
And
I had to change it to 3:30.
3:30. Geez, I even wrote that down wrong. I'm gonna fix that. 3:30 on Wednesday. And Jamie will be setting up the event for our next coffee chat, which will not be this coming Friday, but next Friday, and that will be on her page. Well, we stream it onto both, but she'll set it up on her page. So anyway, I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Diana, Edith, Shelley, Cheryl, Adrian, I think was here. Yeah, Adrian, Callan. I know Callan had a pop off, but you're all amazing. We appreciate it. And I sure do hope that we helped you out and got you thinking today and all that fun stuff. So,
Yep. Very good. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. See you soon.